All right, guys. So this is our first video that we're doing for our fantasy football group. As you can see, Marcus is on the phone with me. He's one of the other co-commissioners in the division, or actually in the league. And what we're gonna do today is we're just gonna go ahead and kind of break down the keepers that the owners went through and decided to hold on to for this year's league. And after this one, we will go ahead and do a draft recap as well to see how everything ties together. So, Marcus, how's everything going?
Good, man. Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm excited. We're not even 48 hours away from our fantasy draft, and
Right.
we're right around the corner. And who thought it was going to happen? You know, with everything going on.
Hey, man. I'm happy, man. We talk about this all year, bro.
that we do. All right, so let's jump right into it, and we'll actually start with the players, or actually with the owners who didn't make the playoffs last year,
Okay.
and see what decisions they went ahead and made. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with Khalil. Khalil went ahead and he kept Kirk Cousins at a 7th round keeper, and he kept Tariq Cohen at 9. He didn't have a lot of options.
No.
Let's be real. He didn't have a lot of options. I'm not a fan of Cousins. I actually thought he would have stayed with Daniel Jones and given him a shot.
Well, I think you went more with the veteran here. Kirk Cousins, he's a decent fantasy quarterback.
He is.
What round did he keep, man? That slipped me right
He
now.
kept Cousins at a 7th rounder.
7th round.
Yeah.
And, okay, so he could have kept Daniel Jones at the 12th round.
At a 12th round.
Right. So I mean,
So-
there's a.
There's a 5-round difference there. You lost Diggs. You know, he lost one of his targets. That's gonna play a big role into it. But like I said, I think you're right. He played the safer bet there, I think.
Yes.
Which you can't fault.
Right.
Cohen, I'm kind of indifferent on. I think for a 9th round value, he's all right. He's going to be a change of pace back. He's out there with Montgomery, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I know he's not going to obviously start. He might get some PPR points. But, you know, like I said, he was limited in options.
Yeah, I mean, he went with what he felt was best, and I understood it. You know, we have some other owners that I'm just baffled by that decision. So we will get there.
Oh, we're going to. So at a 7th and a 9th, I think Khalil did all right. I think he played the safe route. So I can't fault his options. So but Khalil's options were all right. We had Ed.
Well, see, Ed made an interesting decision by only keeping one person.
Yes.
When he had the option to keep 2, obviously, but he had the option to make a trade for a person. If he was only going to keep one, could have made a trade to try to get another keeper.
Yeah.
But
That's what threw me off though, because he made a trade, and he made a trade for Hunter Henry. I figured he was going to go that route, but then looking at his roster, he had Mostert on his team, the running back from San Fran.
yeah, really?
Yeah,
See,
and he had him at a 12th round keeper.
Lord have mercy.
Like I seriously thought he was gonna go that route at the end, because when he told me I'm not keeping Henry, I'm like, all right, he's gonna go ahead and keep Mostert. He just stayed with Metcalf.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. Well, I understood him taking Metcalf.
Oh no, definitely. think Metcalf is a solid complementary receiver to what I think they got Lockett out there.
Right.
So, but I mean, and having the second pick in the draft.
Yeah.
You could have paired that. I mean, maybe it's to get yourself an extra pick, but I don't think you do better than Mostert at 12 or even Henry at 6. I was shocked by that.
You and I both were. You and I both were.
But I mean, but maybe he's got something planned for the draft. Who knows? But I'm interested to see in what he does.
Right.
All right. We'll jump over to Griggs right now.
Griggs. Okay.
Griggs. Griggs went ahead and he kept Baker Mayfield at 10.
Right.
And he kept AJ Brown at 12.
I think those were solid, very solid keepers due to his roster.
Yeah.
He didn't have much to choose from.
He was another one.
You know, but he made a trade for AJ Brown because for a player that he did not want.
Yeah, he wasn't high on Lindsey. I think he was just going to throw Lindsey back into the player
Yeah, he
pool.
was just going to throw him back in the pool.
Yeah.
So it was a trade that worked out for him. So, you know.
And
so
he's got to have a bounce back year. He had a dreadful season last year.
Tough. What he did last year was he took a lot of gambles, and none of them paid off.
Not one. And
No.
that and he also I think held on too long. He held on too long to AJ Green. I think he should have pulled the trigger on that one.
Right. Yes.
And
I agree.
I think that came back to I understand holding on to him, but at some point you gotta save ship and get rid of the guy.
Agreed.
But I think he's off to a good start with the two keepers that he has going into this season. So I think he's good. He's
That's a
off.
good start.
Yeah.
Definitely a good start. Very solid start.
Yes, very solid. You're right. Very solid start. The fourth owner that we're gonna go into is Gary. Gary's new to the league. Gary took Ward's spot, who had to vacate the league because he didn't make the playoffs for 3 straight seasons. So we brought Gary in as a new owner, and Gary took over Ward's team.
Well,
I don't know, Gary.
He came in with an unusual strategy, which is keeping 2 quarterbacks.
They're good quarterbacks.
Yes.
Very
they
good
are.
quarterbacks.
So I don't know which route he's going to go with this. So that's why I'm going to hesitate with my analysis because I want to see where he takes it. But that was very different. But again, sometimes being different, you know, it works.
It does. The route I think he has to take is simply he has to go Russell Wilson because he gave up a 4th rounder for him. So I think you have to go that route.
Yeah, but maybe he's going to flip flop. You know what I'm saying? Due to the matchup that those 2 quarterbacks may have for that week.
That is
Russell Wilson is in a tough division.
That is very true, but I'm not a fan of that, and the reason I'm not a fan of it is I look at Phil last year. Phil flip flop between Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers, and that's something. Yeah, that could backfire real quick on an owner. And,
yes.
But like I said, and not for nothing, Gary actually inherited a team with some decent keepers. He had Michael Gallup at a 12th rounder.
Yes.
He had Noah Fant, I think, at a 12th or a 10th rounder. So he had options. But to go pretty much back to back with quarterbacks, so a 6th round and a 7th rounder.
Yeah, it's different. But again,
yes, it could pay off.
We don't know where he's going with this. So I'm just interested to see how he drafts.
Me too. Me too.
and where he's gonna take it.
Yeah, like I said, I know nothing about Gary. He was the wild card this year, so and keeping two quarterbacks is already,
It's questionable.
It's
now,
questionable.
Anybody who was in the league prior
Mm-hmm.
to him coming in does that or did that,
Oh.
I would be like, yo, they need something wrong with
Somebody
it.
needs to be reevaluated.
Yeah, but being that this is his first year in the league, I'm gonna pause.
Yeah. I can't say much because, like I said, who knows how he drafts? Maybe he blows
Right.
his, and he has a great draft. So, but
Right.
two solid picks, like you said. He actually might be able to go ahead and flip one. So, we'll
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and see what he does. From there, we'll go ahead and I guess we'll just start going by division. So we'll start off with my division, and we'll go with Phil.
All right.
Phil had choices to make.
Yeah. Tough choices.
Phil had some choices to make. He had a lot of players. Lamar I think was a shoo-in. You knew he was going that route.
Yeah, first of all, he's a Ravens fan.
Yes.
Let's just put that into account.
Yeah.
And Lamar was the number one fantasy quarterback. So you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
And the 14th round, it just makes sense.
That's his quarterback for the next 5 years easily.
Yes.
So he's set. Now I thought he was gonna go Andrews just to have that tandem.
I did too.
And he would have had Andrews and Jackson for a 12th and a 14th.
It would have been amazing. That would have been very. He kept Kittle for a 6. Is it a 6?
Yeah, he kept him for a 6th.
So I understand that in any other situation.
Yes.
But not this one. Like, what are you doing? Like,
I'm actually kind of happy Andrews is back in the player pool, to be honest.
Yes.
I'm very
Somebody's
happy.
gonna get him.
Yeah, I think he'll be gone by like the 3rd, 4th round, the latest. But I see him probably going right after Kelsey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
He should. Being that Kittle is kept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should.
So, but like I said, I think Phil could have set himself up with, and he's got the number 3 pick on top of that. So you got Jackson, Andrews, and the number 3 pick.
Yeah.
You're
Which
setting
is more
yourself
likely
up.
to be Barkley or something like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking he'll go the Barkley route. I think I don't think he'll really surprise much. So that's a shoe. But like I said, you can't go wrong with Lamar. And like I said, Kittle's a beast. So, but for the value, I thought it would have been Andrews.
Yeah, me too. Because you could have drafted Kittle in a second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, but.
But yeah, because now you would have had your tight end and your flex position set right there. That's solid. So,
Right.
But like I said, Phil started off. He's off to a good start going into the draft as well.
Yes,
So,
he is.
We'll go ahead and we'll go with Joe now.
Now, Joe made some questionable decisions. He traded Dak Prescott to you, which is an interdivision
Yes.
thing. It's like, okay, did you not think about that first of all?
Right.
And you pick after him in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You're the 4th pick and he's the 5th.
Right.
So you trade him, and you don't even like you trade. I don't understand. So he ended up keeping Devontae Parker, which is a very great keeper.
Yes. And especially for the price of 12th round,
Yes.
you can't go wrong with those.
Very great keeper. But he ended up keeping Marlon Mack also, who's going to be in the committee at the 5th round. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, if he gets drafted, he might not get drafted in regular leagues.
That's true. I think the kid Jonathan Taylor is going to give Mack a run for his money.
Right.
I think he is.
Right.
And I actually thought Joe was going to go with Debo.
Well, yes. And a 13th round keeper.
Debo was a great. I thought he had his wide receivers set, and they were late picks. They were 12th and 13th rounders.
Yes.
Easily players who would have been mid rounders. And you went. The Marlon Mack pick kills me. It kills me.
It's awful. And you know what? I want to tell him that, and I am going to tell him. It was awful. Awful.
All right.
You know.
All right. Well, on that note, that covers Joe. I think he was my biggest surprise, right behind Ed.
Yeah.
I think Joe really could have set himself up to pretty much be right there with Phil to battle out the division. To be honest with you, I really thought they could have.
It just don't make sense. But hey,
you never know. You never know. He might have a plan too. I don't know.
He might have a plan, but right now the plan don't look too good.
All right. So now that brings us. So now that brings us to me now. I'm the third person in that division. So I went ahead and I kept the player that I traded for, which was Dak, and I kept Miles Sanders.
Yeah, those are two players that you traded for this offseason, which at the beginning of the offseason, you know, I'm almost certain Damian Williams would have probably been one of your keepers, but he opted out.
Coronavirus, yeah, he was out.
So you had to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
And the adjustments were what you made.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have Miles Sanders at a 6 or 7? Eighth round keeper, and Dak at a 12th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so solid keepers. Solid
yeah.
keepers.
I mean,
compared to what you could have had.
Yes. Which had nothing worked out, it would have been Williams and AJ Brown. Those would have been my picks. Those would have been my keepers had nothing panned out. And if Williams opted out and I didn't make a trade, I was asked out. Like there was nothing I could do. So, but
you made an interdivision trade which saved your offseason.
Yes, agreed. So
and he should slap himself.
He should. All right. You're right. All right. So we're gonna go. So we did Griggs and Gary, who are in the same division. So to complete that division, we're gonna go to Mike.
Mike, okay.
Mike last year had probably one of the best fantasy football seasons that we've seen. I mean, the guy just blew through the league with ease from start to finish. The guy, everything he did last year worked. Everything worked. He had a solid draft. He actually had very good keepers on his list as well. I thought he would have gone with Lockett over Moore.
You and I both. But as an opponent, I'm happy he did that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Moore.
I like Moore, but we just don't know with that offense. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know. With Tyler Lockett, you know Russell Wilson looked for him. Yeah. And now with DK, after the year DK had, I think that there's gonna be more attention shifted to him as well. Right.
It might open up Lockett a little bit more. And who's the other receiver out in Carolina? Curtis Samuel. All right. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
And I mean, you went with Moore, who was a 5th round keeper. Lockett would have cost him a 4th, which is probably where he may go. He may go in that 4th round, so he may actually turn around and draft him. To be honest.
I mean, that might be the situation, but you wouldn't have to worry about that.
True. That's true.
You know.
That's true. And then he also went and he kept Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Now that one, he could have drafted him late too.
He could have. His other choice would have been Garoppolo. But if Wentz comes back healthy though, I think Wentz is a great pick at 12.
Well, yeah.
You know,
it should work out for him.
Mm-hmm. So I agree, but like I said, so not bad keepers, but I thought he would have gone Lockett over Moore. It is where I had him.
Right.
So, but again, we'll see how that plays out. Um, so we'll go ahead and we'll jump to Chris.
I think Chris. Oh, Phil is calling me right now on the phone.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna hang up. No, I'm gonna hang up with him. Hold on.
All right.
But
Watch he'll call me next.
right. I think Chris had an excellent choice of keepers.
And not for nothing, I think behind yours, I think he has the two best keepers in the league.
Yes.
His
Chubb is gonna get you what he's gonna get you, and Kyler Murray might explode.
Yo, I think Murray is set up. At least he's got the weapons around him. It seems to have a unbelievable sophomore year.
Yeah, he might explode. So
I think Chris has set himself up, and I think he's middle of the draft this year, which is pretty much where he was last year. But Chubb and Murray, that's a solid start.
Very impressive start.
Yeah.
Very impressive start. Listen, Chris, when you watch this, I just want you to communicate with everybody more. But you're a good fantasy player. We like you. We just want to talk to you more.
All right, so that's Chris, and like I said, he's off to a solid start.
Solid, very impressive start.
Yes. Now that takes us to another player in his division, who's Andres.
Andres. Now, I'll let you announce it first. I'm sorry.
So Andres went ahead and he kept Josh Allen at a 12th round keeper, and he kept Cooper Kupp at a 7th.
Now, I was surprised at his decision not to keep Chark at Chark's 12th round?
A 12th rounder.
Huh?
Yeah, he was a 12th rounder.
Yeah. I just didn't understand that. Like, he's the number one guy. Cooper Kupp is great.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that, but we just, let's. The Rams might be switching some things up, so
they will.
We're not completely sure of how productive Cooper Kupp will be, although he will be somewhat productive.
Oh, he's gonna be reliable pretty much. Let's be honest.
Yes, but Chark is the guy.
Yeah, sure, and he's a big receiver. And he's a big receiver. And Minshew was pegging him left and right when he was out there.
He's gonna throw it to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you not? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to keep Josh Allen the quarterback, nobody's gonna draft him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but again,
he might have something. To be honest with you, I thought he was gonna go Kupp and Thielen, because now you take two. Actually, Chark would have been the same thing, because Chark is going those first 4 rounds as well, 4 or 5 rounds.
He's definitely going the first 4 rounds.
And so's Thielen. And I thought he would have tried to kind of like handcuff the wide receiver market a little bit, but the quarterback surprised me. But then again, I think it was like 75% of the owners kept quarterbacks this year, which is crazy.
Yeah,
everybody kept the quarterback.
I mean, I understand your decision. I understand Phil's, and I understand Chris's,
and AJ.
Well, yes, AJ, and a little bit of Mike, because those were his choices. But the Andres,
I thought he was going Chark. He made the trade for him late in the year too. So I thought Chark was his guy. I thought Chark and Kupp, and I thought 7 and 12. That's not bad.
Right.
That's not bad. So, but
the
again,
quarterback market is very slim.
It is, but what I think helps out the people who didn't draft a quarterback or keep a quarterback, you've got a pretty good selection, and you know that other owners aren't going to take quarterbacks, at least not early on. So you should be good. So, but again, I think Andre set himself up good. I think he's got Kupp is reliable. Allen, you hope he works it out with Diggs, and he rushes too. So that'll get you some points as well.
We'll see. We'll see. They should win the division this year.
Oh yeah, no. If they don't,
we will see.
Very true. So now we're gonna move up to your division. So we did Ed already. We took care of Ed. And we're gonna go ahead and start with AJ.
AJ made a move that I love because he's in my division. But he traded for Philip Lindsay
Yes.
for a 6th-round pick.
Yes.
Okay, Philip Lindsay is a 10th-round keeper, okay.
Correct.
But he's in the... They just signed Melvin Gordon to big money. So, why would you keep Zach Ertz?
I thought he was going Ertz to begin with. But maybe with the whole Wentz situation, getting hurt and whatnot.
What? Yeah.
You know, and I could kind of see that, but I did think he was going to keep Mahomes and Ertz, which would have set him up.
Yeah, that would have been
pretty
solid.
good. But also now at a 10th round keeper, he's not going to get anybody better than a 10 than Philip Lindsay, who does have the chance to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I think Gordon, and I even told him this, and I've talked to Phil about it too. I don't think Gordon is the same guy. You know, I don't. I think that year off hurt him, or at least the 8 games hurt him a lot.
Well, the thing is, he traded a 6th-round pick for Lindsay. You could have drafted him there and kept Zach Ertz. You know,
True.
I don't know, man. It was very questionable. Of course, Mahomes is a no-brainer.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to keep him. So that's always going to be a solid for however long.
Yeah.
Um,
And well, I
but
think
that's
he's
expected.
a 12th, right? 12th or 10th?
It should be 10th this
It
year.
should be a 10th this year, yeah. So
It was
he
14th the year before, 12th last year.
right? So yeah, I think he should be a 10.
Right.
No, he's not a 10. I think he's a 12th.
He's a 12th. Okay.
I think he's a 12 because I think Lindsay's in his 10th spot. Yeah, Lindsay's in his 10th spot.
So Mahomes can
Because
go up.
because he drafted Mahomes. He drafted
And it's
Mahomes.
16. So
Yeah.
like
40. So yeah, so he's a 12th this year.
12. Yep,
Yeah,
you're right.
so that's crazy. Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
that's just a great.
Yeah, he's the same boat as Lamar Jackson. So
Right.
it's a no-brainer. You gotta keep him. You gotta
Right.
keep him.
It's no brainer.
So, but yeah, so AJ, and like I said, AJ won his division last year, so he's trying to defend that. So you
Yeah.
know he's off to a decent start. I think one no-brainer and one could be questionable. But Ertz, Phillip, Lindsay, we'll see how that works.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right, so now that brings us to you. Final player owner in our draft. And like I said, I said it earlier when we were doing Chris, I think you guys have the best keepers by far. You've got Alvin Kamara and you've got James Conner.
I decided to keep Connor over Terry McLaurin for one reason. Is because of the contract year that Connor's in.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's very important in today's football. Contract years are important for players.
Yeah.
Connor dealt with a lot of injuries last year and late the year before. The year before, he was solid throughout the season.
Yeah,
and
he
then
was.
towards playoffs, which was week 13, 14, 15, started dealing with some injuries. And the injuries kind of piled on last year. But he has Big Ben back. And, you know, it's a contract year. So I decided to keep Connor instead of McLaurin for that reason. I still wish I could have found a way to keep McLaurin because I really think he's going to be very, very good years to come. But, you know, and I have a no-brainer as well. Kamara at a 10th round. He tore his MCL last year. I knew that, but a lot of people didn't know because I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah.
But he only missed like 2 games, so it was a down year for him. But I knew why. So
Right.
I didn't feel no type of way because I just knew that he was hurt. You know
Now,
what I mean?
is he back healthy now? Is he 100% or is
Yeah.
he still? Yeah, so he'll be there for the start of the season.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's like he didn't have surgery. He opted to rehab, and yeah, if you watch some of his off-season videos, you'll see that. Yeah, there's no problems with that knee. You know what I mean? So.
Now I know you were also flirting with the idea of Singletary. Now we gotta throw this out there.
I was, but
you weren't going that route.
I was before the draft.
Yeah.
Until they drafted, I forget who they drafted.
Zach
the third
Moss. The kid Moss.
Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Once they drafted it, I said, okay.
Mm.
I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So I had to go with the sure thing, which is Connor.
Yeah.
Again, I wanted McLaurin, but Connor's the sure thing for this season. Now, if this was next year, I probably would have kept McLaurin. But,
right. Makes sense. But yeah, so I mean, I think overall, more than 75% of the league, I think went the way that I thought it would. There were some head scratchers, to say the least. There were some surefire bets. You knew what they were gonna do.
Right.
But like I said, I think it puts everybody in good position for the draft, which is at least gonna happen sometime this weekend.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we need to figure that out actually very quick.
Right, yeah, we can do that tonight.
Yes, no, we're doing that tonight. But yeah, like I said, I think everybody has set themselves up good, and I mean it should make for a good draft. It should make for a good season.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm excited, man. You know, we'll talk more about the draft time tonight, but as far as we're about to get started. This is what we've been waiting on.
It's about time. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video that we did. Like I said, we should have one sometime again mid next week, recapping the draft and how we think we did. But I will get to you later on this evening, and we'll see. We'll talk more fantasy football.
I see he's trash talking to me.
Later, man.